This episode is brought to you by Google Gemini. With the Gemini app, you can talk live and have a real-time conversation with an AI assistant. It's great for all kinds of things, like if you want to practice for an upcoming interview, ask for advice on things to do in a new city, or brainstorm creative ideas. And by the way, this script was actually read by Gemini. Download the Gemini app for iOS and Android today. Must be 18 plus to use Gemini Live.
And welcome to a new episode of The Simpsons Did It. I'm your host, Steven Skolansky.
And I'm your co-host, Robert Skolansky.
And this week, I feel like we should rig an election.
Who are we rigging the election for?
Well, I hear Arnold Schwarzenegger wants to run again. No, probably not. I don't know. Who would we want to be a good candidate for mayor?
Oh, I like the Simpsons man.
The Simpsons man? Okay. We'll rig the next election for the Simpsons man to be mayor of Springfield. Which
Perfect.
one? I don't know. There are several Springfields in the United States.
Yes, there are.
I'm sure if we got him elected as mayor of one of those Springfields, he would turn the entire town into Springfield, USA.
Yeah. So I think I'd like to point out this episode deals a lot with politics. Obviously, on this show, we try to, not talk about politics because it's divisive. So I think we can both agree we'll do our best to stay away from that.
As long as it's within good humor.
Yes.
We'll keep it okay.
And to be fair to this episode, I feel like a majority of the Simpsons writers at this time probably were more left-leaning. I don't know what their staff is like now, but this is heavily making fun of the Republican Party. But obviously we'll do our best to, not
make
talk
fun
about
of the
politics.
Republican Party. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I like where your head's at. All right, so this week we have Season 6, Episode 5, Sideshow Bob Roberts. And this title is a reference to the film Bob Roberts, and it was a 1992 film following the eponymous politician suggesting that success comes from shady deals, hypocrisy, and deceit. Wow, boy,
Yeah.
that title, of all the Simpsons titles lately, this one got it right on the nose.
Yeah, that was, I like that.
Yeah, they did. I feel like they did a good job getting this one right on the nose. Now, the fact that Sideshow Bob was running for mayor kind of helped.
Yes.
this
yes.
whole
That's
thing.
probably why they did it this way, because the fact that Sideshow Bob is kind of the central figure in about half of this episode.
But okay, to be fair, isn't Mayor Quimby just as Republican leaning?
Well, we'll get to a quote about that.
Okay, because I'm like, can you normally have two Republicans run on the same ticket?
Oh, yeah.
I guess you could. As for mayor, I guess you could. For president, you can't.
No.
Right?
Well, theoretically, you could if the one Republican that was opposing the other Republican ran as a Democrat, because
You can
is
only have one or the other.
Yeah, like there's Senator Joe Manchin, who he claims to be a Democrat, and that's how all I'm going to leave it at that.
Gotcha. All right, so this episode aired October 9th, 1994. And our recap, Sideshow Bob runs for mayor as a candidate of Springfield's Republican Party and wins. Not very well, but
No.
he won for now.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it's kind of funny that it's so weird. We'll get into it. We'll touch on it now. We'll get into it in the episode.
Yeah.
But the weird thing for this week, this was like the first week where there's no chalkboard gag, no couch gag. It's just the title card, right to the TV, and the credits. That's it.
Yeah, so I was reading up on it. Apparently this was Fox's decision because it was such a long episode that, usually just the chalkboard and couch gang alone is couch gag alone is like, what, 15 to 20 seconds?
If that.
Like, it's crazy. This is like one of like three. This is one of a handful of Simpsons episodes that don't have a chalkboard gag or a couch gag.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays it's all title card to TV or even title card to the episode.
Really?
Yeah. There's
Wow.
like nothing anymore. It's like they ran out of chalkboard and couch gag ideas.
I mean, 700 plus episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, considering the first 5 seasons, half of the couch gags were repeats anyways.
Exactly.
Like,
I mean, where are all these makeup ones? They could have had them all now.
yeah. So this week, it opens up and we hear no sports, no rock, no information. For mindless chatter, wear your station. And that is the KBBL radio station theme song? Or is it just for this? Or is it just for this?
No, I would think it's for the entire radio station, which is weird because they do play rock music.
Yeah, they do play music.
Right?
I think so.
It's not just a talk radio station. They have the DJ,
yeah.
unless they fire the DJ 3000, or I don't know. It's kind of weird. I guess we'll have to keep an eye out for future radio station songs, but to my knowledge, at least as of this episode, they still had, songs.
Music. Yeah.
I mean, yes, they had their DJs and they did their banter and talk and stuff like that, but maybe.
But even then, they still play music in between the banter.
Exactly, and well, I mean, any radio station, doesn't matter where, they always have like hour to 4 hour blocks for the DJ / talk show, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird that would be their slogan.
Yeah. So we see Homer is at work, eating donuts and listening to talk radio on KBBL. And we get Springfield's favorite conservative and author of the well-selling book, Only Turkeys Have Left Wings. And if you don't get that joke, I'm not explaining it. And his name is Birch Barlow. And Birch Barlow is a parody of conservative talk show host who's no longer alive, Rush Limbaugh, while his first name is a possible reference to the far-right John Birch Society, which it would make sense. I mean, given the context of this episode.
Yeah.
And so Lenny and Carl come in, and they come into Homer's work area.
Yeah.
And Carl is like, "Oh, Barlow's a right-wing crackpot," and Lenny is like, "Homer, switch the station." He's because Lenny's like, "I consider myself politically correct," and Barlow's views make Lenny uncomfortable.
Yep.
Being politically correct doesn't, I mean, that's the joke. It doesn't have anything to do with politics.
No.
Well, and in this day and age it does, but why would Lenny and Carl care if they don't like what Homer is listening to in his area? Do what they eventually do and just leave.
Exactly. I mean,
Like,
but that's the weird thing about even society now. People will bitch about you listening or talking about shit and comment. Well, that's the problem with social media in general.
yeah.
People would literally have to comment on shit they don't like when they could just leave it alone. If you don't like it, scroll on.
Oh yeah, no, there's a YouTube channel that I watch, a guy that just plays video games, and I was reading the comments the other night, and this guy was bitching about the video game, content, and somebody's like, "Well, then why are you watching?"
Well, exactly.
Like, jeez.
So even in the 90s when it was just radio, people still did it.
Yeah. And Homer tells them that he's not really political, and he feels people who vote are fruity. Okay. But Homer says Barlow speaks to him. But as Homer is talking to Lenny and Carl leave.
Yeah.
And the reason I believe Barlow really speaks to Homer's soul is that they're both fat slobs who eat donuts.
Yeah. Sounds about right. Even though Homer doesn't realize he is eating donuts. I guess you can hear him over the radio, but...
Yeah. Well, because they do like a dissolve transition from Homer to Barlow, and they're doing the same thing.
Yep.
And so now we get host Birch Barlow's signature sign-on. Good morning, fellow freedom likers. Birch Barlow, the 4th branch of government, the 51st state. And I like...
Would the 51st state be DC?
That...
Right?
That or Puerto Rico.
Exactly. So shouldn't he be like the 52nd state?
Correct.
Or 53rd state?
Correct.
Yeah. Come on, man. Get with the times, bro.
And so Barlow says there are 3 things in Springfield that they will never get rid of. The bats in the library, and we get a cut scene to the library where some guy opens up the little card drawer thing and bats fly out at him.
You know, not to be a Ghostbusters fanatic, but I think it would have been funnier if they did in the ghosts in the library. If they opened up the drawer and the library ghost from the first Ghostbusters flew out. That would have been funny.
Yeah, but that's not the joke. The second thing that Springfield will never get rid of is Mrs. McFreely's compost heap. And we get another cutscene with Mrs. McFreely sitting on her porch watching over her heap with a shotgun in hand.
Yep.
And to be fair, you know, compost heaps are nice.
Not in the middle of your yard where everyone can see them.
True.
They're better in your backyard.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if her cousin Alex still has it, but her house when she moved in had like this huge garden, but then off to the side she had a compost heap. I'm assuming she still has it. But again, you're right. It's in the backyard.
Exactly.
And the third thing they're never going to get rid of is their 6-term mayor. That's a lot of terms for a mayor, but I feel like I didn't look this up and maybe I should have, but I don't think there are term limits for mayors.
I don't think so. I think you could be mayor until you get voted out, really.
Voted out, retire, decide not to run again.
Now, mayor terms are still 4 years, or are they 2
Correct.
years? 4 years.
I believe they are 4. You vote for mayor every 4 years.
So he's been mayor of Springfield now for 24 years.
That would be my assumption.
That's a lot of years of God.
Yeah.
Man, I think I'd want to retire.
Well, to be fair, there was a mayor here in Green Bay who was here. God, he was mayor when I think I started college, and he didn't leave until I think he left last year.
So does that make it 3 terms? 12 years?
Something like that. Let's see.
God,
there are 2 consecutive terms. I don't want term limits. 2 year looks like maybe 2-year term with a 4-term limit is in San Diego.
But I'm guessing that's just state law.
That's city. I think it's city by city because Philadelphia is limited to 2 4-year terms. Chicago has no mayoral terms. San Antonio has a 2-year term with a 4-term limit. Huh. So I think it varies by city.
So basically Quimby. Well, okay. So they obviously have mayoral elections.
Yes, correct. Because that's what this episode's about.
No. I'm just saying Springfield obviously like he's not a dictator mayor of Springfield. He actually gets reelected
every 2 to 4 years.
Yeah.
So basically, he's been serving between 12 and 24 years.
Yeah, depending.
So if it's depending on what Springfield's laws are on mayor.
Okay, so 12
terms.
years isn't half bad, I guess.
No, 24 would be a lot. But again, the mayor of Green Bay, Mayor Schmidt, I think he was here from 2008 until 2020, if I remember correctly. But I believe the mayor for Green Bay is a 4-year term.
So that's 12 years.
Three terms.
3 terms, 12 years. Yeah, I mean, good God. If I was Mayor Quimby, I'd be like, get me the hell out of here.
Yeah. So Mayor Quimby, for some reason, is also listening to Birch Barlow. Maybe there's nothing really else to listen to. And Barlow calls Mayor Quimby illiterate, tax cheating, wife swapping, pot smoking, spendocrat. Well, first of all, illiterate. Okay, that's kind of not good. Tax cheating is
I'm
obviously
no longer illiterate.
tax cheating. not a good look. Wife swapping, your life, you do whatever the hell you want. I don't think Mayor Quimby really wife swaps, though.
He just cheats on his wife.
Yeah, he's a wife cheater.
Yeah.
Pot smoking, again. Hey, that's cool. He's hip. I mean, this is 94. Pot was a huge deal back in the mid-90s. Mayor Quimby's like, screw that. Also, while he's listening, he is watering a pot plant in his office, which I thought was a great touch. What does he spend money on, though?
Yeah, he doesn't spend money. He hoards money, man.
Yeah.
Like,
and so...
Did you see... Well, we haven't gotten there yet. When I guess like the monorail episode, he was going to run away with the money.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't going to spend it on the city.
He's going to spend it on himself.
Exactly. So I don't know what this guy thinks he's thinking, that he's a spendocrat.
And as
he's
Steve,
more of a hoardocrat.
Yeah. And as Steve already said, Mayor Quimby was like, "Hey, I'm no longer illiterate."
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And so Barlow blames hippies for Quimby being in office, and Barlow also wants to lock up the homeless. Not touching that with a 10-foot pole. Well, that's second part. But blaming hippies for Quimby. I don't think hippies would vote for Quimby.
No. I mean, maybe because they all smoke pot.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's where kind of at the beginning of the episode, I'm like, God, Mayor Quimby's more of a Republican than he is a Democrat.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why he was listening to Barlow at the time. Because he was like, oh, this guy doesn't, he might talk shit, but now he's going against me.
Now, here's my question, though. So Quimby has been in the office for 6 terms. Has he run unopposed every single time?
I don't know. That's the weird thing. You don't think anyone else in Springfield would want to go up against him?
Yeah.
Maybe. Disco Stew.
Disco Stew.
We haven't gotten Disco Stew yet, have we?
I don't believe we have. He has not been introduced.
Okay.
So now we cut back to the Simpsons house where Marge, Bart, and Lisa are listening to Birch. And Marge doesn't really like him because he sounds controversial, and she doesn't want controversy in her house. That's fair.
I don't like controversy in my house.
No, nobody likes controversy. Well, I guess not everybody. There are some people who love controversy. And Lisa is like, well, I don't like him either, but she's doing this for a school project on local politics. And I don't really think I started to learn about politics until, like, I remember doing a little bit in 4th grade because that was an election year.
Yeah.
I believe that was 96. Yeah, 96. I would have been in 4th grade. So that was an election year. So we kind of talked about it a little bit.
You didn't vote for class president in kindergarten and have Rosie O'Donnell come into your class and help you? Oh, wait, that was South Park. Never mind.
That was South Park. Like, do you remember when you first started to learn about, like, elections and politics a little bit?
I mean, 4th grade sounds pretty familiar for me.
Because I remember they had us vote for the president of the United States between
I don't
Clinton
think we ever
and
did that.
Like, I vaguely remember voting for, I don't remember who I voted for at this point. I was also in 4th grade.
I mean, that seems pretty dumb for that. But I mean, we did social studies in 4th grade, 5th grade, and then on. Yeah. But as far as,
like 2nd grade though, why would you even touch you wouldn't touch on that probably until middle school, but 4th grade. So that's kind of weird on Lisa's part. And then Bart mocks Lisa for getting to do projects. He's like, ha ha ha, you're doing a project. And Lisa's like, well, what project are you working on? He's like, a project on fireworks, and he holds up a bag of them.
Yeah. And Marge takes them away. It's like, and then runs them underwater. What, man? That sucks.
Yeah, considering about what's about to happen.
Yep. And then she runs them underwater, and Bart, don't lie. I mean, okay, first of all, Bart's not old enough to buy fireworks.
Correct. I mean, well, maybe had Homer buy him.
But that's what I'm saying. So, like, if someone had to buy him for him, Homer would obviously be the obvious choice.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't Bart? What's the point of keeping it a secret?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
considering what's about to happen next.
Exactly. Like, he could have went up to Marge, been like, "Hey, Mom, I told the principal that I'd be bringing in some fireworks because some foreign principals are there looking at the school for some weird reason. It's crazy. I don't really understand that.
I kind of remember. Well, no, I don't think we ever had even like foreign exchange students in like.
Oh, we had foreign exchange students in fourth
elementary?
grade. Yeah. Fourth grade was French.
Oh,
They had,
I don't remember
students.
us ever having. At least in my class, I never remembered it.
Yeah, no. I remember that because I kind of wanted to do it, but you had to be in French class to do it, and I took Spanish.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we cut to the school where Skinner wants to do the send-off for the foreign principals, and Bart was obviously supposed to bring fireworks, and he's given an F by Edna, and the principals are like, oh, what's a bad student? No, bad principal. And I mean, I don't know how that's necessarily a project, but if Bart was like, hey, I'll do this for you. But see, that leads me to believe that Marge would have been told by Bart. Bart would have been like, dude, I got this cool thing I gotta do. And the principal well, first of all, the principal okayed it. It's not like it would have been a prank.
No.
It's just really weird. I don't get it.
I think it was just done for the sake of the joke, but it really doesn't
joke.
It's a
Dumb
really
joke.
bad joke.
Horrible. I don't like it. And I like how Edna just writes on a piece of paper F. Like it says Bart S F. Like it's not even a handwritten form of any kind, just on a notepad. I don't get it. It's really weird. So Homer and Lisa are listening to Barlow in the car, and because on the way, we listen to radio talk shows on the way to school.
Now I never listened to talk radio on the way to school. I remember always listening to talk radio like on the weekends, or if we drove down, drove to a Cubs game, but. Like I always took the bus.
Well, I guess Dad always brought me back to the office, so we always listened.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Talk radio.
But I
wish I had this conversation. Like this would have been a great conversation.
But wasn't that talk radio usually sports though?
Yeah. So not the end of the world. Now I think Dad listens to more political stuff because all the shit that he's commenting on Facebook and Twitter, which is weird as fuck. But
anyways, moving on.
But yeah, Homer and Lisa are listening to Barlow in the car, and Barlow calls Democrats Democrats and calls welfare smell fair. Yeah, he's just a crazy kook. And Lisa wants to listen to something else, but Homer says, when I'm driving, we listen to what I want to listen to. When you drive, you can pick the radio station.
Dude, I love this so much.
And all of a sudden you hear John Parr's St. Elmo's Fire playing, and we see Lisa driving the car.
Lisa's got some good taste in music.
Yep. Or it was the only thing on the radio station that wasn't Barlow.
Yeah, maybe.
But, okay, so obviously he's on KBBL, right? So apparently there is a second radio station in the town of Springfield that we do not know about.
Well, it's also possible there's it's a Shelbyville radio station.
No,
because you can depending on the frequency, you can get stuff from an hour to 2 hours away from you.
Yep. So I want to know what radio station Lisa was listening to, because it obviously wasn't KBBL.
Well, I believe we eventually find out
Don't they have an 8-track player in that car? Maybe
that is also possible.
Maybe Lisa popped in an 8-track.
That too, but I do believe at some point we do learn the call letters for the Shelbyville radio station.
Yep. And so Homer's like, I can't take it anymore. Let's switch back. And that means they have to listen to more Barlow.
Yeah.
Yep. Sad. Lisa had it. She was like, hell yeah. Now I wish I could have that sort of pull in my car. When
when Shay's driving.
When Shay's driving, when our parents are driving. Can't have any of that pull. It's whatever they want to listen to. So my headphones go on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, normally when I come visit you and you drive, I don't really care because it's usually Kevin Smith, one of Kevin Smith's podcasts.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to this.
Yeah, I don't listen to much music in the car anymore. Now it's just podcasts.
I do. I listen to a lot. I listen to the same music on repeat, and I really need to download some more music because I've been listening to the same stuff for the last 3 years. But that's all I listen to is music.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I can't do music in the car anymore. But so now we hear Sideshow Bob calling in to thank Birch for getting more people to the conservative side. I really want to know what the listenership in the town of Springfield is for this radio station, for this show in general.
Yeah.
That would be great. And Lisa Gass, she's like, oh, that sounds like Sideshow Bob. Yes, ma'am. Sideshow Bob. Yakking it up on the old yak box. Dad, I'll spare you the embarrassment of admitting you don't know who Sideshow Bob is. Woo! Oh, come on, man. It's almost as bad as Burns forgetting Homer's name. And, well, okay, it was also Krusty. Krusty almost forgot the things Bart did for him.
I know.
Like,
maybe there's amnesia in the town of Springfield.
Well, we all know the water supply spiked.
Yeah.
Remember the last time Marge drank the water supply and she started hallucinating?
Yeah, maybe that's what the problem is. Maybe they're drinking the water, which is causing them to hallucinate and then forget things.
Exactly. So
although in Mr. Burns' case, he's just old.
Yep. Yeah. So Lisa goes in to explain to Homer who Sideshow Bob is. And
he almost killed Bart. Like, the other thing, too, is Sideshow Bob tied him up.
No. He fell asleep, remember? During that whole ordeal.
Yeah, but he was still tied up.
Yep. Yeah. It's like he trying to kill Selma. And Homer responds, oh, Sideshow Bob. Oh, my God.
Oh, I love that so much.
So good. So Bart is reading his comics in his room. I love when Bart reads comics. That's one of the sides of Bart I wish they would show more, was his comic book loving side. Because he does get comics and goes to the comic book shop. So, But Lisa runs in, Bart, your mortal enemy is on the radio. And Lisa turns the radio next to Bart's bed. And then we get Dr. Demento on the radio. It's time for more dementia with Dr. Demento. And now, the funny five. And Bart screams and throws his radio through the window. I really want to know the backstory of this. Why is Dr. Demento Bart's second mortal enemy? And Lisa's like, I meant your other mortal enemy, Sideshow Bob. And Bart gasps, Sideshow Bob? Oh, I'm only 10 and I already have got 2 mortal enemies.
So for those of you who don't know who Dr. Demento is, he was a real-life radio host famous for his partnership with Weird Al Yankovic, a partnership that is the reason for his fame.
You know what? I bet we get to hear about Dr. Demento in the upcoming Daniel Radcliffe docu. What's it called? What's it called when they do
a mockumentary?
This? No, it's not a mockumentary because it's about him. Biopic. That's what it's called. Yeah. So Daniel Radcliffe is the new Weird Al. If you guys don't already know that, not new Weird Al. He's acting as Weird Al. I always think it's weird when they do these biopics when the people are still alive.
Yeah, that I don't like. On the one hand, it's weird because usually these biopics are usually a tribute.
Exactly.
But on the other hand, since Weird Al's alive, he probably has some creative input on the movie to help steer it in the right direction.
I would hope so.
And plus, it's like a nice little gift to Weird Al to see his life on the big screen.
Yeah, I mean, but it is weird. Like when Elton John's still alive, so they already did his biopic
with what's his name?
Yeah, and I mean the only real recent one would be Queen because Freddie Mercury wasn't alive. So
Freddie Mercury's been dead for years.
Well, yeah. So I mean that one makes that makes sense.
I heard the Freddie Mercury one wasn't really that good though.
It was okay. We have it on at work every once in a while because it has a good soundtrack. So
it's Queen.
And it plays well. So so now we get Mayor Quimby. He's speaking at Gripe at Mayor's Night at the Springfield Retirement Castle. And Mayor Quimby's like, and this proposed expressway will bring increased commerce to our local merchants. Grandpa, what's in it for us? And Jasper goes, yeah, give us something we'll like, or we'll ride you out of town on a rail. What? Like, does Jasper still think trains? The something train doesn't come by here much anymore.
Well, I mean, there is the fake Skinner episode where he is put on the train.
Yep. And Quimby's like, clears his throat. He's like, what do you people like? Sleep. Jasper. And then we got the crazy old man, sexy dames and plenty of them.
Oh my God.
And
Well,
then
you know, old folks are horny.
Yep. And Grandpa was like, Matlock. And Quimby's like, well, I suppose I can name it the Matlock Expressway. Woo! What was it called before? I didn't write it down.
Just the new expressway.
The new expressway. Okay. Yeah. So Mayor Quimby's trying to. I guess he's out trying to get the vote. Then. Okay. So this makes a little bit more sense now that we're like. I love when we discuss things because then things kind of fall into place and start making a little more sense. So he's out on the campaign trail basically.
Yeah.
Unopposed, probably again. Just trying, because you need at least a vote to get elected if you're running unopposed. Well, there has to be some rule for that, right?
For what?
If you're running unopposed, like you have to still get elected.
Yeah, you still have to get a vote.
Yeah.
But usually if you're running unopposed, people are gonna like I have voted for people who are running unopposed.
Yeah. So well,
and if and depending on their political affiliation, I might do a write-in.
Yeah. Mickey Mouse.
I usually go with Elmo.
He'd be good too. So Bart starts listening to Bob talk on Birch Barlow's show while he's in class. I liked it. I didn't even see where his radio was, but
I think it was just sitting on his desk.
Was it?
Yeah.
And Bob, he's like, attempted murder. Now, honestly, what is that? Do they give a Nobel Prize for attempted chemistry? Do they?
Oh my God, that's such a great line. One of the other YouTube, there's a guy on YouTube who does a lot of legal stuff, and I think I remember him talking about this episode, and he was just laughing at that quote because it's because the whole joke by Sideshow Bob saying is like, well, I didn't actually murder Bart.
Yeah. Well, attempted murder is still a crime.
Correct.
Bob might not think so, but it is still a crime.
Yes.
And so, Birch Barlow is announcing his new crusade to set Bob free. My friends, isn't this just typical? Another intelligent conservative here, railroaded by our liberal justice system. Just like Colonel Oliver North, Officer Stacy Coon, and cartoon spokesperson Joel Camel. And then he has a picture of himself with Joe Camel and it's autographed. That was pretty good. Well, I've had it. So, yeah. Just trying to revolving. And then I just love the video later on about the whole revolving door stuff. That's just hilarious. So upon hearing Barlow's mission to set Bob free, Bart yells no while he's in class. And then to spark Bart's objection, the people of South Africa can vote in a free democratic election.
I love that so much.
Oh, that's so good. I love it. And so now we cut to Moe's, and the barflies are, listening to Birch there. So I guess Birch does have a little bit of, listenership.
Yeah.
And Barlow on the radio says, "My friends, Bob is a political prisoner. I want every loyal listener to do everything they can to get him out of jail." And Moe's like, "All right, you heard the man," pulling out a box of grenades, 1 grenade each. And Barney's like, "Mo, I think he meant through nonviolent grassroots political action." "Aw, geez, really? You think so? All right, give him back. Come on, everyone, give him back. Hey, who pulled the pin on this one?"
I feel like that one was probably done because it never exploded, or we didn't see it explode.
I don't think Mo would have got the pin back in time.
To be perfectly honest, I think Mo might have been right and Barney might have been wrong. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, we all know the Republicans like egging people on to destroy things.
Anyways, so now we get a Springfield Shopper headline, the first one of this episode. Bob Pardon, #1 local issue. Subheadline, edges out no fat chicks ordinance. Isn't that a big thing with Homer? Like no fat chicks?
No fat chicks, yeah. Homer even has a shirt that says no fat chicks.
Yeah. So now we get Quimby reading the headline. He goes, "Very well. If that is the way the winds are blowing, let no one say I don't also blow." Oh, Quimby. Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. And so through a voiceover, we hear Quimby pardoning Sideshow Bob. So like Bob's like kind of walking out of the prison, and you hear Quimby, unequivocally pardoning Sideshow Bob. And we learn Sideshow Bob's middle name.
Yep.
Robert Underdunk Terwilliger.
Underdunk.
And so I'd like to point out in the episode Black Widower, where he almost blows up Selma, Bob claimed that he and his prison mates would be released on the streets once Democrats were back in power. Now, we don't know what Quimby's political affiliation is.
Well, he's been a mayor for the last 6 terms. He's been in office.
But what does that have to do with this political? Well, okay, I see what you're saying.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Bob said back in office. Quimby has never left the office. So I don't exactly know what he's trying to convey.
I don't know. Well, I mean, it was, maybe. Well, I think at that time he was saying, once Democrat, because like the whole thing on the Republican side is that Democrats are soft on crime, which just isn't true. So I think that joke at that time was, because Democrats are so soft on crime, once they take over, I'll be back out. And he probably wasn't anticipating somebody advocating for his release from prison.
Yeah.
And so, because people, like Sideshow Bob now, apparently, even though he attempted murder, Quimby's like, okay, I'll release you so people are like, on my side.
Yeah.
By the way, there was a guy this last primary cycle who's in jail who won his primary.
Nice.
On the Republican side. No, not good. He tried to kill his wife.
Oh, what'd she do?
Steven. So, Bob gets released. He walks out, only to fall in water. And apparently, the prison is now located on an island like Alcatraz.
What, did they move it?
I don't know. Because the guy's like, the boat's on the other side, eh? I think he was also in Canada, because that's what the guards sounded like. That's what he said.
So Springfield Penitentiary not only left Springfield, like they just took an excavator and completely uprooted it.
Yeah.
But they moved it to an ocean off of the coast of Canada.
Maybe.
What's going on?
I don't know. So now we cut to the Republican Party headquarters. I don't know anything about, what is Skeletor? He-Man? Masters of the Universe? Yeah, I don't know enough about...
It looked like that castle so hard.
I'll give it to you. I don't know.
If you guys watching this episode have a thought on what the castle looks like, to me, Skeletor's castle totally looks like it. But I could be wrong.
And so we get the inner circle of Springfield's Republican Party. We have Burns, Birch Barlow, a green vampire-like humanoid who gets served blood instead of alcohol, the blue-haired lawyer, Dr. Hibbert, Rainier Wolfcastle, and the Rich Texan.
Rich Texan. Pretty much everyone in the room I get, minus Dr. Hibbert. I would have never saw that one coming.
Where's Ken Brockman?
I couldn't make it. He's doing the news.
Where's Krusty the Clown?
Couldn't make it. He's drunk. He's at the track.
So these are our Republican Party members, at least here in Springfield.
Well, maybe they're not part of the inner circle. That Ken Brockman and Krusty aren't part of the inner circle.
I think Ken Brockman would be part of the inner circle. He's very rich.
He's the media. Well, he's also the media.
So Burns tells the group they need a candidate to beat Joe Quimby, and Birch tells them to open the door to see their next mayor. And so I think it's Smithers opens the door, and it's just a water cooler sitting there.
Awesome.
And everybody in the room thinks that's going to be the next mayor is a water cooler.
Blah, 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 blah.
What did it say?
Yeah, oh my God.
And of course, the next mayor in their eyes is going to be Sideshow Bob. And we see Bob entering the meeting wrapped in an American flag, which is a reference to the movie Bob Roberts movie poster.
Yeah.
Yeah. So another, I'd assume they throw at least one reference to the movie in there. Apparently, they're going to use the poster.
Yeah, that was a good gig. I'm sure the movie wouldn't. The content of the movie might not necessarily fly to parody it, but the movie poster is non-offensive.
Yeah, and I love how Hibbert says that Bob is better than the water cooler, and Rainier is like, I agree. I like the human touch. God. Oh my God. So now we cut back to the elementary school where the candidates are going to speak on education. And so Skinner tells the kids they have to be on their best behavior for this choreographed media event.
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty typical for a lot of like debates and stuff like that. They kind of try to choreograph it a little bit just to be like, okay, you're going to talk and then you're going to talk kind of thing. And so Skinner tells them no wising off, no face making, and no eating grass. And Skinner's like, that means you, Ralph, who has just eaten grass.
Yep. Now, okay. Who are these candidates trying to get to vote? The kids can't vote.
Well, maybe they're trying to get the kids to convince their parents. Because as we said in the last episode, when it comes to marketing, you market towards the kids, and the kids go bug their parents until the parents relent.
I guess.
That's what I would assume.
I just was like, why? Why are they giving their political, I guess it was really only Bob, too. Like, Bob was the only one really talking.
Yeah. So Bob tells the children that Quimby has no idea about education and that he likes to flip-flop. And so Bob, flips around, does some flips and whatnot. And the children are impressed by Bob. And Bob does some other, tricks where he, ducks in his suit and, makes fun of Quimby that way.
Well, we don't know if he's coming or going.
And he does, a little pointing thing and back and forth. And what was the other one? He's short or something?
Short on something. I can't remember what it was. He shrinks and waddles back and forth.
Yeah. And so Lisa tells Bart that they can't let Bob win. And they need to stoop to the lowest common denominator. And Bart's like, I can do that. Yeah. Of course Bart can. So Lisa and Bart go to hug Quimby. And Quimby thinks he's getting attacked by the children.
Yep. It's like, get him off me. And then Lisa turns on the charm to tell the media that Quimby was just saying that the children are the most important resources they have. Yeah. That'll do it.
Yeah.
I guess Quimby got a little bump in the poll for that one.
Maybe.
I can't quite tell. And Kent asks if the children are more important than Cole. And Quimby's like, yes. Yes, they are.
Exactly. Yes, they are. Children are our future.
Yep. And so, Bob's aides grab Bart off of Quimby and pull him into the limo to start threatening him. Oh, that was so good. He's like, no children have ever meddled with the Republican Party and lived to tell about it.
Oh, God.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And then don't they throw him out at his house?
They do.
Yeah.
You're about a couple things away from that.
Oh, okay.
I'd also like to point out, Bob has AIDS, and the AIDS are parodies
AIDS
of
are funny. Don't worry, guys. South Park told me AIDS are funny now.
Bob's aides are parodies of Richard Nixon's advisors during Watergate. Their names are H.R. Haldeman and Jane Ehrlichman. Okay. I think I pronounced that right. I don't know.
Yep.
John Ehrlichman.
Yeah, and then Bob snaps his fingers, and his aides put a voted for Bob sticker and an elephant sticker symbolizing the Republican Party on Bart. He's like, get him, boys. And then he just tags them and then dumps them out at his house.
Yeah.
And so then we get Archie, Jughead, Reggie from the Archie comics, and they throw Homer out of their car while Moose says, duh, stay out of Riverdale. I don't exactly know what Homer did to Archie and the gang.
Okay, how did he meet them? Yeah, how did he meet them? What did he do? I mean, it is Homer, so he probably did something stupid. How do you offend Archie comics?
I know. Well, it's Homer. He could probably figure out a way. But where is Riverdale in reference to Springfield?
I don't know. I do like the fact that the episode was later referenced in the new bite-sized Archie comics number 39, Wrong Turn, where Homer dropped Archie at Jughead's house and told Archie to come back to Springfield anytime. Jughead asked Archie Where has he been? Where has he been? And Archie told him that he woke up at the wrong side of the multiverse.
Nice.
And also, this is also a little bit, this scene with Homer is later referred to down the line a little bit in this episode.
You know, it's funny because right now, like, I don't know if any of you guys watched Riverdale on the CW.
Nope.
This past season, they actually are delving into a multiverse type scenario, which was kind of dumb, but kind of interesting. So,
yeah.
I could see how Archie wound up on the wrong side of the multiverse. So now we get a commercial for Mayor Quimby's campaign, and we have without a Mayor Quimby, our town would really stink. We wouldn't have a tire yard or our mid-sized roller rink. We wouldn't have our gallows or our shiny Bigfoot trap. It's not the mayor's fault that the stadium collapsed. And I love how at the end of the commercial he's giving the shrug shoulder, like, eh.
Yeah.
But
Quimby.
okay,
Quimby, if you were running for mayor, he'd vote for you.
Yeah.
Paid for by the mayor. The ad was paid for by the Mayor Quimby for mayoral committee. Yeah. Say that 5 times fast. God, I wonder how many takes it took him for that line to be correct.
I don't know, but okay. So I mean, I guess, you know, having a mid-sized roller rink would be fun. I mean, we want a large roller rink?
I don't know.
Was that what they were going for? They'd have a bigger one. Now the tire yard and the tire fire. I mean, that's a staple of Springfield, man.
Oh, absolutely.
And the gallows, you got to have your history. You're not using the gallows anymore.
No.
But having the history mark. I mean, look, you go to what's that place that we went to when we went on the DC trip, but it wasn't DC.
Oh yeah, the old timey thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of the place.
Yeah, I was in Virginia.
It's in Virginia. So they have like all the historical stuff there. I don't see why the gallows would be bad. Now the shiny Bigfoot traps, that just kind of makes you seem all kooky.
Well, I think they have the Bigfoot trap because of Homer.
Okay. All right. Now the stadium collapsing. Okay, we could put that one on Quimby.
No, we can't.
Oh,
it's not his fault.
It's not his fault.
It's not his fault that the stadium collapsed.
I don't know. He could have updated this. Now, which stadium? Obviously,
yeah, we don't know which stadium. They don't say which stadium.
Which stadium are they talking about? The old Springfield Adams?
I don't know.
Or what was the football team? The Adams?
I don't know.
No, that Homer and Ned went to go see. What was the Springfield?
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, so the Isotopes are baseball.
Yes.
It must be the Adams or football.
Sure.
It was either the Isotopes or the Adams Stadium collapsed. And we don't know when. So now we get Bart and Lisa trying to pass out buttons and stickers on the street for Mayor Quimby. And Bart's like, hey, Four Eyes, vote Quimby. Hey, Beardo, vote Quimby. And Lisa's like, this time, he's the lesser of two evils. Which, I mean, I guess that...
In this instance, yeah, he's the lesser of two evils.
Yep. Yeah. Because, you know, we're all assuming that Sideshow Bob is going to try to kill Bart again.
Correct.
Or they think that they're going to try to kill him again.
Oh no, Bob is definitely going to want to try to kill Bart again.
Yep. And so Jimbo comes up and he says, oh, I love these... not Quimby. He said like Quidley.
I don't know.
I can't remember the name that he gave him, but it wasn't Quimby. And he was like, I like some more bumper stickers. And so Bart gives Jumbo another, stack.
Jimbo?
What did I say?
Jumbo?
Bart gives Jimbo another sticker, and Jimbo puts it over Milhouse's eyes. And then Kearney and Dolph push Milhouse in a shopping cart down a hill.
Yeah, the mummy is ready for his voyage.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Because they have bumper stickers all over Milhouse.
Oh, that was good. I like that. That was great. I absolutely love that. That was fantastic. Yeah. And so now we get Bob at the old folks' home.
No, I think he was at a diner with them.
Oh, well, my notes say old folks' home, so I'm going to go with that.
No, the notes say Bob meeting with the old folks.
Oh.
Reading is a skill. Maybe you are illiterate.
No, I just like adding extra words to my sentences.
Clearly.
Yeah. So Bob's meeting with the old folks at some form of diner because old folks like to go to diners.
Correct.
And the old folks surround Bob, and Abe claims that he owned the first radio in Springfield. Because basically Bob was like, if you vote for me, I'll listen to your kooky stories. And Abe was like, sold. I have 1,000 of them that I can give you.
Yeah.
And so,
Grandpa's like,
that fella Quimby promises to build us the Matlock Expressway. How are you going to top that, smart guy? How about this? I'll not only build the expressway, I'll spend the remainder of this afternoon patiently listening to your interminable anecdotes. And Grandpa's like, hot diggity damn.
and then he claims to have owned the first radio, like the actual like piece of technology where the sound comes out. I'm assuming, not like a radio station.
Yep, no. I'd say the absolute first radio.
Yeah,
and so now we get Sideshow Bob's commercial.
Yep.
Mayor Quimby supports revolving door prisons, only because Bob got let out because they wanted him out.
Correct.
The town pressured him to let him out.
Way to figure out the joke.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm just explaining it to the folks out there.
That's
what this podcast is about, is explaining.
We don't need to explain everything. I think our viewers understand it.
Uh-huh. And Mayor Quimby even released Sideshow Bob, the man twice convicted of attempted murder. Can you trust a man like Mayor Quimby? Vote Sideshow Bob for mayor.
Oh, that would be an ad that would be run in today's society.
Yep. Oh, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and so this campaign is largely based on George H.W. Bush's revolving door ad, and apparently it was an extremely important event in the '88 U.S. presidential campaign.
I guess that was the only topic that anyone wanted to talk about.
Maybe.
You
still see political ads talking about crime.
Yeah, a little bit. Not as much anymore, I would say.
Pretty much every day at my station, we run a political ad that talks about crime.
Really? Must be a Wisconsin thing.
No, it's for Ron Johnson.
Exactly. So we get a Springfield Community Center sign tonight. Mayoral debates tomorrow. Mass wedding of cult members. So the same people are going to be there?
Maybe.
The Republican Party is basically a cult, right?
Yeah.
And so the League of Uninformed Voters presents the Springfield mayoral debate.
The League of Uninformed Voters.
Yes.
I love that.
Yep. And so we get our moderator tonight, and it's Larry King.
Voiced by the one and only Larry King.
That's awesome. That was a really good pull. I'm glad they got him.
Also, to go back a little bit, the Dr. Demento segment, that was also Dr. Demento.
Yep. And obviously, we'll talk about it. Sideshow. We all know Sideshow Bob was voiced by the one and only Kelsey Grammer.
I don't think there is an episode where he's not voiced by Kelsey Grammer.
Nope. And so Larry tells the audience that even though they are being broadcasted on Fox, there is no need for obnoxious hollering and hooting.
Woo! And everybody starts to do it.
Yep.
And he's like, God damn it.
Yep.
And so now we cut to the stage where Lisa and Bart are with Mayor Quimby, who got sick because he shook hands with old people.
Yeah. I mean, which weird, because unless Sideshow Bob Quimby went back to the old folks again to, pitch his expressway again, I guess.
Yeah, so Quimby's appearance at the debate impersonates Nixon's appearance at the 1960 presidential debate after he had just recovered from a cold.
Was this the same one where he also liked the beverage of choice from John F. Kennedy?
That I don't know. Couldn't tell you. It wasn't alive 60 years ago.
No, remember the Simpson episode where he and John F. Kennedy were doing the thing?
Oh,
about the
yeah.
Was that the same? That's what I was getting at.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Was that the same debate?
No. For Nixon?
Yeah.
No, I think that would have been 64.
Oh.
Because I don't think JFK ran in 60.
Okay.
So Lisa hopes that Quimby can perform at the debate, and Bart's like, he'll be okay. And we see Quimby take some pills, and Bart holds up the medication Quimby just took, and it is discount flu remedy, extra drowsy formula.
I mean, I like me some extra drowsy flu remedies.
Yeah, when I'm going to bed.
Yeah, not for the mayoral debate. Yeah.
Yeah, so Birch Barlow asked the first question to Bob. He goes, Sideshow Bob, Councilman Les Wyman says that you're not experienced enough to be mayor. Sir, what do you have to say about that? Bob goes, I'd say that Les Wynham ought to do more thinking and less whining. And Lisa's like, there's no Councilman Les Whining. Bart's like, good line, though. Oh, God. That's great. And so now, Barlow asks Quimby a question, and Barlow's like, Mayor Quimby, you're well known, sir, for your lenient stance on crime. But suppose for a second that your house was ransacked by thugs. Your family tied up in the basement with socks in their mouths. You try to open the door, but there's too much blood on the knob. Quimby is like, what's your question? Barlow's like, my question is about the budget, sir.
Oh, my God.
I feel like when he was asking that question, that's like something that actually happened to Birch.
Yeah.
Like, it just made it seem like he was like in that scenario, like that happened to him.
I thought Larry King was the moderator.
Just because he's the moderator doesn't mean other people can't ask questions.
I have never seen a debate that had multiple people asking questions.
That is,
to be fair, I've only watched the presidential ones, but
yeah,
none of the presidential debates I've ever watched had more than one person ever asking questions.
I thought there was at least one where I watched where there was two moderators.
No, really? Because it's funny, because Birch wasn't even introduced. It was like, here's your moderator, Larry King.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you saw a table with people sitting next to Larry King.
I guess so.
So there's probably more than one, like Larry was the moderator, but he like delegated who got to ask questions.
I guess. I would have loved just to have Larry King ask the questions.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're going to get Larry King, have him do something.
Exactly. That's exactly my point.
And so after Barlow asks Quimby about the budget, Quimby slicks back his hair, and it looks like he has little devil horns in his hair. And Lisa and Bart are watching on a monitor in the back. And then somebody added like flames around Quimby because he's sweating, he's like nervous, and there's a little message on the bottom that says flames added electronically by Channel 6.
I could see someone named Robert doing that.
Don't know how.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, I thought you knew how to add graphics and stuff to TV shows.
Not at my current job.
Oh, at your old job, could you have done it?
Probably not. Like, dude, television, adding stuff on television is not as easy as it looks unless it's already pre-made.
And they have to be live, too.
Yeah, like, well, you could, I mean, if somebody made like the flame graphics and then threw it in the system, you could take it live. So again, somebody added the graphics to the thing. I'm not going into detail about how my job works. We're going to be here all night. So it's now election day, and we see Homer going into the booth to vote. And I love how he's holding a ballot information pamphlet.
Yep.
I've never seen anything like that. And so as he's trying...
Okay, well, look, though. In the 90s, we didn't have... I mean, we had the internet in the 90s, but probably not as uniform as it is today. But I feel like Homer would have been... I mean, I guess people back then, I don't know. I couldn't vote until, 90.
Like, I would go with...
The 2000 election. I couldn't vote till then. So, I mean, I could have done all my research online, but maybe people actually had pamphlets back then on how they...
Okay, if there's any older listeners who voted in the 90s, if you had election pamphlets, let us know. I went with our mom a couple times when she voted, and I don't ever remember seeing her pick up a pamphlet.
Well, maybe Homer had a pamphlet because he didn't know who to vote for, where our mom probably knew exactly who she was voting for.
So Homer's like, I don't agree with his Bart killing policy, but I do approve of his Selma killing policy. And so he votes for Sideshow Bob, and then Krusty is next in, and he goes, well, Bob did frame me for armed robbery, but I'm going to vote for him anyways because of the upper class tax cut.
Yeah.
Oh God. And so now it's later on in the evening. The results are in, and Kent Brockman is on TV to read the results. He goes, and the results are in for Sideshow Bob, 100%. For Joe Quimby, 1%. And we remind you there is a 1% margin of error.
Well, there usually is. If you look at whenever you're watching like presidential,
Yep.
the stuff, there's always a little ticker that goes along the bottom that says there's always a margin of error.
Thank you for explaining the stuff that I do at my job.
You do that?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
If you ever watch the news and you see the ticker on the bottom for the vote counts, that is done by the local station.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Unless you're watching a national network, then even that, like Fox News or CNN, they have their own department for the ticker.
Yeah.
That you see at the bottom. So yeah, that's the local station showing you the results.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to do it a couple times. It's kind of a pain in the ass. So Bart and Lisa are sad, and the Quimby war room empties out, and very quickly, as soon as the results, everybody's gone. I love how there's a janitor in there, and he takes a bottle of champagne and runs out too.
Yep.
And so now we go to Kent's like, oh, Sideshow Bob must be really happy. Let's go to his speech. And so we go to Sideshow Bob giving his acceptance speech. Well, not really a speech, more of him laughing a lot up on stage. And he does it underneath a giant poster of a picture of himself. And this is a reference to the campaign speech seen in Citizen Kane.
Nice. That's a good pull.
Yeah.
Second Citizen Kane reference so far through six seasons.
Yeah. And so now it's the next morning, and Homer is awakened by a loud banging noise coming from outside the house. And he goes, it's the rapture. Quick, get Bart out of the house before God comes.
Oh, my God. It's funny. So now we've had Ned think the rapture is coming. And now we see Homer thinks the rapture is coming.
Oh, God. So, however, it is not the rapture. It is Sideshow Bob overseeing the construction of the Matlock Expressway, and the Simpsons come out of the house, and he tells the Simpsons that their house is in the way of the expressway, which I don't remember the initial plans, but I highly doubt it would be.
Yeah. I think Bob changed where the expressway was going.
Yeah. He's like, well, I'm not a vindictive man. I'll give you 72 hours to vacate before we blow up the house with any remaining Simpsons left in it.
Now, from the last episode, I thought there was already a highway near the Springfield residence.
There is.
Okay, so they just need a new one now.
Correct.
Goddamn construction workers.
Yeah, and so Homer goes, listen, Mayor Terwilliger. He doesn't even call him Terwilliger. He's like Terwilliger.
Yep.
He knows, he's like, I know what you're up to, and no one in this family is going to stand for it. And of course, right on cue, Abe and Jasper are driving an old-timey car on the unfinished expressway, and they stop short before falling off of it. Yep. And Abe yells at Homer to move his house.
I wonder how they got down.
They backed up.
Oh.
Yeah. So now we cut to the school where Skinner tells Bart that at the request of the mayor's office, Bart is being sent back to kindergarten. I don't think anybody in like a mayor's office or the president can tell principals where students are allowed to go.
Nope. But he's Bob. He's Sideshow Bob. He can do whatever he wants.
He can't tell a principal to send a kid back 4 grades.
But I think we all agree that Bart enjoys being sent back.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So and Edna's in the room while this is happening, and she celebrates with some champagne.
Yep.
And so now we cut to Bart in kindergarten, and the teacher's like, "Okay, what is this shape?" And Bart
Triangle.
Bart correctly identifies the shape as a triangle. And she's like, okay, well, you get your pick of the toys for free play. And he picks a Flintstone phone.
I choose Flintstone phone.
And he presses the Fred Flintstone button, and you hear yabba dabba doo.
Yabba dabba doo, I'm talking to you.
Oh God,
that was good. I love it. And so now we get the Simpsons having dinner, and Homer's like, "We're gonna lose our house and end up living under a bridge like common trolls." And he's like, "I don't think Bob won that election legally. I can't believe a convicted felon would get so many votes, and another convicted felon would get so few."
Wait, is Mayor Quimby a convicted felon?
Is he? Well, has he ever actually gone to court for?
We have never. In the 6 seasons we have been doing The Simpsons now, there hasn't been a single episode where Mayor Quimby has been found guilty of any crime.
No, but pre The Simpsons, but maybe on his early terms, he got convicted for bribery or
but that's
something.
Not ever stated.
No, but
I think this is also Lisa saying that all politicians are criminals.
Well, we all know that Quimby is a criminal.
Yeah.
I mean, he does take quite a few bribes.
Yeah.
And so, Lisa's like, "All right, let's head to the Hall of Records, because that's a good way to go. Not the good kind of records, the historical ones.
Yeah.
Because, was she thinking like Guinness records, like Guinness Book of World Records?
Vinyl records.
Oh, vinyl records. Okay. What? I don't know. There's the Guinness Records place in California, so people could go there.
But it's not the good kind of records, like vinyl records.
Okay, fair enough. So Lisa looks up the election results. Well, she doesn't look it up. She goes to the counter to get the records, and he's like, "Here they are, all 48,000 voters."
So we don't know how big Springfield actually is.
Well, I think isn't the math behind it if every 2 people, let's say, obviously not everyone's a couple, but let's say for every 2 people, there's at least 1 kid or 2 kids. So you could almost think that maybe the town of Springfield's about 100K.
No, it's not 100K. Absolutely not.
No?
At most, it's 5,000 people.
That's it? So 48,000 voters and the town of Springfield's only 5,000 people? That's weird. That's like less math.
Exactly. That's the point.
Okay, you're making little to no sense. All right, so Lisa...
continue on with the episode, and it makes perfect sense. Because dead people don't count towards the population.
Oh, okay.
Good Lord.
Well, you didn't say that.
You should know the episode.
So Lisa says that she thought that this was a secret ballot. And the clerk's like, meh.
I believe this is the first use of the word meh in The Simpsons.
That's where I got meh. My use of meh was because of The Simpsons.
Well, that's the reason it's in the dictionary is because of The Simpsons.
Yeah. So Lisa looks through the voting records. She's like, Arthur B. Adams or something voted for Bob. And she just listed off, like, going alphabetically. And I don't think she got past the A's before she fell asleep.
No.
Maybe.
Correct.
Maybe she got to the B's or C's, but probably not.
Yeah.
But a mysterious person comes up and leaves a note for Lisa. And she kind of wakes up a little bit. She's like, huh? What's this? And she opens it up, and obviously it's for a secret meeting at the parking garage, which is called Pay and Park and Pay. So you pay twice to park there?
Well, you pay once to park and once to leave.
Oh, that's a horrible parking garage.
That's the point.
Pay as you exit. Sweet deal. So Lisa and Bart meet the mysterious person, and this meeting is with Smithers, and it's based on the series of meetings that Woodward and Bernstein had with Mark Felt that took place at the bottom level in an underground car park at Roslyn across the Key Street Bridge in Virginia during the Watergate investigation in 1973 with the infamous
so this whole
Deep Throat.
Yep, Deep Throat. Yeah, so this whole section of Simpsons is based on Watergate.
Yep. And so Lisa feels they are like Woodward and Bernstein, and Bart mentions that unlike those two, Homer is waiting in the car reading Archie comics. Mm-hmm. And we see Homer reading his Archie comics, and he comments, "Riverdale punks think they're too good for me."
I love that callback. I love it.
I know. So but the funny thing is I don't think Simpsons comics had been released yet. I
Probably
don't
not.
think so. I don't know when Simpsons comics came out. But as the mysterious person tells Lisa that she is on the right track, he won't tell them his name, but Homer shines his headlights on the person to reveal it's Mr. Smithers.
He said, "Oh, hi, Mr. Smithers."
It's like, well, now that you know who I am,
can I get a ride home?
Can I get a ride home? And yeah, Smithers tells the kids that he has never gone behind Burns' back before. But he did it because Bob's ultra-conservative views that conflicts with Smithers' choice of lifestyle.
And I believe this is the first, and this is probably the episode where most people figured he was gay.
I mean, if you didn't know that with Burns flying through the open window naked,
yeah.
No, I don't think this is the first episode where we would.
But here's the thing: do we really know that Bob is an ultra-conservative?
I mean, I feel like he's more pushed towards that based on, I don't know. Well, maybe not. I guess I don't know. I guess I don't know what his we never know what his actual political views are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like the Republican Party is pushing all that onto him.
And I know a lot of people would ask, well, why does Smithers put up with Burns if, Burns is part of a party that doesn't agree with his choice of lifestyle? It's very possible that Smithers is a log cabin Republican, which is the gay wing, homosexual wing of the Republican Party.
Oh, I believe I have at least one of my friends that's that. So
a log cabin Republican, really?
Yeah, he was in our fraternity.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like being a Republican and gay does not mix well.
No, that's why I always felt weird. I was like, really? Like, it was like one of those things. I'm like, God, how can you stand anyone you're voting for?
Because especially if they don't agree with who you are as a human.
Exactly. That's the weird part.
Because I know in the basically 30 years since this episode has taken place, back in the mid 90s, even early 2000s, everybody's like, oh yeah, being lesbian, gay, homosexual, queer, trans, it's just a lifestyle, but it's not. It's it's in the DNA. It's a science thing, and so when Smithers says choice of lifestyle, well, Smithers really isn't choosing the lifestyle.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I understand maybe they agree with some of the views of money views, but I feel like a lot of Democrats have those same views.
Yeah, exactly. So Smithers
never made sense to me.
Yep. And so Smithers I could give you one name, Edgar Neubauer. And so Lisa and Bart start looking through the phone books because they don't have the internet.
Nope.
And if
for those of you out there who don't know what the yellow pages are,
I think they know. But they're not having any luck with finding an Edgar Neubauer. But Bart was obviously not doing his task for looking for Edgar Neubauer. He was looking for names of people to prank phone call Mo, I'm assuming. And he finds one named A Gorilla. And the next phone call Bart is making is to Mo's.
Yeah.
And so Lisa and Bart go to the old Springfield library to check out the card catalog. And all they got were bats.
Yep. You're never going to get rid of the bats.
Nope. And Lisa says things are hopeless and they are going to lose the house and they'll have to move into a Motel 6. Bart's like, Homer can't afford $6 a night.
Okay, so we've talked about Homer's salary in the sugar episode because Marge mentions that he lost $40 in one day.
Yep.
And so we figured out he makes $5 an hour if he's working an 8-hour shift. So, yeah, I don't think Homer could afford a Motel 6.
Nope. And so Bart looks over at the cemetery and finds Edgar Neubauer's gravestone, which reads, "Beloved husband and old grouch." And Bart points out that the dead people are voting and voting Republican. And Lisa tells Bart that dead people can't vote.
Yeah, that is. So here's my question. I'm sure there's an answer out there. Let's say you vote an election. Like, let's say you do absentee voting. You fill out your ballot, you turn it in. And now, reminder, it doesn't get counted until election day. Let's say you die before election day. Can they legally still count it?
I would assume so, because you were alive when you cast the vote.
That would make sense. Okay. Just curious, because I wonder how often that scenario comes up.
I don't know. Especially with COVID.
Especially with COVID, and like a majority of like disabled and elderly people do absentee ballots. So, the list of dead people who voted included Edgar Neubauer. That include Edgar Neubauer are Prudence Goodwife, Buddy Holly, Richie Valens, and the Big Bopper.
Yep.
May they rest in peace.
Yep.
They go to even the pet cemetery voted for Bob, including Mr. and Mrs. Bananas, who were monkeys, Humphrey Beauregard.
Nice.
Ching.
That's a good name.
That's a snake. And then Lisa discovers that her cat Snowball also voted for Bob. And she's like, "All right, Bob, now it's personal." Bart's like, he did try to kill me.
It was already personal for Bart.
Yeah, and so we find, and we'll get to a little bit in the end too. I don't think Bob needed to rig this election.
No.
And so now we get a second Springfield Shopper headline, and it's Call for Probe and Bob Flap. Subheadline, editorial, why not let dead pets vote?
Oh my God.
Because they're not human. And they're also not alive.
That's right.
And so Homer and Marge, so now it's been 3 days and they want to take down their house. And Homer and Marge are able to stop their house from being demolished. Marge uses a rolling pin to stop a bulldozer. And Homer like hugs onto a wrecking ball and like it hits the side of the house and there's no damage. I did read somewhere that apparently the Mythbusters tested this theory. They made a life-size Homer that was like 266 pounds, strapped it to a wrecking ball, and hit a house. There was minor damage to the house. And they said it was a plausible idea.
But what was the damage to the person? I don't
remember.
I don't care what the damage to the house is. I want to know what the damage to the person is.
Well, you probably got some broken bones. You may still be alive.
Oh my God.
I would assume I don't know. Lionel Hutz is the attorney for the rigged election.
Of course he is.
And this seems more like a panel and not like a
judge jury.
Yeah, which I think might actually be the case in a rigged election. I don't know the last time the United States has actually had an election that was rigged. So Hutz asks Bob if he rigged the election, and Bob's like, "No." And so Hutz looks over, and Hutz looks over at Lisa and Bart for their help, and they look at the judge, and the judge is like, "I don't know." And Bob is like, he eggs the kids on to ask him a question, and Lisa's like, "I have a plan to trap Bob." And so Lisa goes, "You don't have the intelligence to rig an election by yourself, do you?" Bart's like, "You were just Barclow's lackey." Lisa, "You were Ronnie to his Nancy, Sonny to his Cher, Ringo to the rest of his Beatles." Oh, that's great. And so they egg him on, and Birch, they single out Birch, and he looks shocked. And then Bob admits to rigging the election, and he throws down, I love how he has logs. Yes. To how he was going to rig the election. There's 4 of them.
Yep.
And he admits to rigging the election. And he goes, Bart's like, "We want the truth." And Bob's like, You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. No truth handler, you. Bah! I deride your truth handling abilities. And that is from A Few Good Men.
Yep.
Which is great. And I love how Judge Snyder tells Bob to get to the point. And Bob tells the court that only he could have rigged the election. And Snyder asks Bob, why did he rig the election? And Bob says their guilt has them vote for Democrats, but deep down inside, everyone wants to vote Republican because of lower taxes, brutalization of criminals, and to be ruled over by a king.
Oh my God.
The only thing I agree with there is maybe the lower taxes.
Yeah, but what Republican lately has ever wanted lower taxes?
Well, for us anyways.
For us, yes.
Yeah. And so Bob's like, he did it to protect them from themselves. Now, here's the thing. I'm pretty sure Quimby is also Republican.
Yeah, that's, yes.
That's the... But, and as I stated a couple minutes ago, Bob didn't need to rig the election.
Nope.
Because Homer voted for him. Krusty voted for him. I'm pretty sure Moe and Barney were going to...
I'm sure a good chunk of people probably voted for him.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, Ken said 100 to 1 with a 1% margin of error. Clearly, everybody voted for Bob.
Right. Regardless of the dead people, everyone else would have had to vote for Bob.
There is no reason to rig the election.
Nope.
And so Bob's like, I have a city to run. And he tries to leave the courtroom. But Judge Snyder has Bob arrested.
Oh, that's
and and Bob's like, but why? Oh, yeah, all the stuff I did. By the way, this is the only episode that Chief Wiggum, Lou, and Eddie do not arrest Sideshow Bob.
Yeah.
The only one. So Lisa tells Bart they won and that they get to keep their house. And then she's like, oh, Bart, you get to go back to the 4th grade. And Bart is sad by that because they were going to find out who the dish ran away with. And Lisa's like, the spoon. Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Bart. And so we get our final Springfield chapter headline. Toddlers topple mayor. I wouldn't exactly call Lisa and Bart toddlers.
Nope.
Subheadline, expressway halt wrinkles elderly.
Yep. Oh, I'm sure.
God.
Well, if Mayor Quimby got his job back, wasn't he going to build the expressway anyway? Or was that literally just a platform that he was standing on for the election?
Probably just a platform.
All right.
Clearly Bob was going to build it.
I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, why would they stop building the expressway just because they're swapping mayors again?
Also, I think in the case if an elected official gets, like a mayor gets arrested, I don't know if there's like a vice president type person in like a mayor.
No, there's not.
So they probably have a special election to re-elect a new mayor.
And I'm sure Quimby won.
Yeah, he probably did. So we see Bob is sent to Springwood Minimum Security Prison. And this prison is a parody of Allenwood Minimum Security Prison. And, Bob is like, I'll get out, blah, blah, blah. And
so he's not even in Springfield. I guess Springfield only has a maximum security prison.
And so apparently the Springwood Minimum Security Prison has a rowing team. And Bob is asked to be their 9th to row against Princeton. And he does not like Princeton.
Nope, because he went to Yale. Hey, another Yaley.
Yep. And so the episode ends with Bob and the other inmates rowing. I was watching this episode. This really reminds me of like South Park. Because South Park did a lot of this stuff.
Yep.
During like, the Mr. Garrison stuff and the Obama stuff. And it's very reminiscent of that. Obviously not as vulgar. It's a good episode. I don't necessarily like that we reviewed it for our podcast because of the politics. And I feel like I think a lot of people who watch The Simpsons probably are on the same thought train as we are. I'm not going to give it a 5. There's again, Bob didn't need to rig the election. Everybody was going to vote for him. Bob actually seemed like he was going to be a good mayor to everybody else except for The Simpsons.
Yeah.
It should have been let out. It's just, it felt weird in the Simpsons universe. and how they went about this episode. Like, obviously, this is a pop culture type of episode for The Simpsons. I'm going to give it a 4 sprinkles. I enjoy it. Some of the jokes are good. A lot of the references are really good. The whole political thing kind of throws me off, though.
Yeah, this is absolutely not my favorite Sideshow Bob episode.
Like, I will agree with you there. This is probably the worst Sideshow Bob episode.
I had so many gripes with this episode. Like, yeah, there's some funny parts here and there, but like you said, the rigging the election. Actually,
I changed my answer. I'm going to go 3 don't have a cow man.
Yeah, I got to drop it. Yeah, I'm doing a 3 don't have a cow man as well. Like, the whole election thing was just so thrown in there. The whole Republican Party bit. I just don't like Birch Barlow was a weird character for me. Like, the funniest part was probably Milhouse getting pushed down the damn street in his mummy thing.
Yeah.
I
did like the two of the 3 things that Springfield was never going to get rid of.
Yeah. It was just a weird episode. I just don't understand where Mayor Quimby kind of fit into this episode because he was barely in it.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there should have been more Mayor Quimby fighting for his, job.
Yeah.
It just felt like a weird episode. There were definitely some funny parts. I love Kelsey Grammer as a voice actor for Sideshow Bob. Overall, even Sideshow Bob's character for this episode was fine. Like, I actually didn't mind Sideshow Bob's acting and character in this episode. It was everything that was happening around Sideshow Bob that was just meh.
Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird episode.
Man, how come we never did 3 as meh? I do like Don't Have a Cow Man, but man, I almost think 100 episodes in, we might need to change our.
We can't change your rating system now. No, people are too dependent on it.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, I'm doing 3 don't have a cow man. Just not as funny, not as laugh out loud, I was just not as into this episode as I'd wanted to be.
Like, if it pops on, I'd probably watch it. I will say the thing with this episode is it does stand the test of time, because I feel like if they were to make this episode exactly how they made it, with maybe a few minor tweaks, in today's age,
it would work. Yeah,
it would still work. Like, 30-year difference, this episode still works in this day and age.
Yeah, there was just too much weirdness for me. I just couldn't do it. All right, so let's give you our character profile. This week we have the horrible KVBL radio talk show host, Birch Barlow. His occupation, Springfield's favorite conservative radio talk show host, because he's the only one. So, wrote the well-selling book Only Turkeys Have Left Wings. Appeal really speaks to Homer and people like Homer.
The uninformed voter.
Yep. Deepest regret, supporting the prison pardon and mayoral candidacy of Sideshow Bob Terwilliger. Yeah, I feel like that's a pretty bad regret, because after how everything turned, and even Bob went in on him. He's like, or Bart, tried to say, oh, it was all his idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was not a good idea. At least he regretted it.
Yeah.
He at least put his foot down and said, well, we don't know that he never said that during the episode, but that's a pretty big regret. His turn-ons, Republicans, conservatism in all its forms, the muddied class, and donuts.
Mm-hmm.
And his turn-offs, Democrats, liberalism in all its forms, Mrs. McFarley's compost heap, and the bats in the public library. Nobody likes the bats in the public library.
No.
All right, guys, let's finish it off with where you can find us. Head over to Instagram and find us on there, The Simpsons Did It Pod. Head over to YouTube, type in The Simpsons Did It Podcast, and check out all of our backlog episodes. You can give us a call on our phone number, 612-584-0986. Let us know what you think about our podcast. If you want us to talk about things in the future, or what we can do better, what you like, what you don't like, stuff like that. And we also have Jaden LeBron doing our amazing voicemail message. You can find us on buymeacoffee.com/The Simpsons Did It. There you can donate to our podcast, give us a little money, and we'll make sure to be able to continue our podcast into the future with giveaways, stickers, merch, hopefully, stuff like that. So keep it on coming. And so until next time, I'm Steven Skolansky.
I'm Robert Skolansky.
And this has been The Simpsons Did It.
Shh.